Stop everything you're doing right now and look down at your legs. I mean it. Look at them. Because what I'm about to tell you could save your independence, your mobility, and possibly even your life. If you're over 60 and you've noticed any changes in your legs recently, even tiny ones you've been ignoring, the next few minutes could be the most important you'll ever spend watching a video about your health. But before we dive in, let me be absolutely clear. This is not medical advice, and you should always consult with your healthcare provider for personalized guidance about your specific situation. What I'm sharing with you today are warning signs that millions of people ignore until it's too late. Right now, as you're watching this, your legs might be sending you urgent messages that you're not hearing. And here's the terrifying truth. By the time most people realize their leg strength is declining, they've already lost up to 40% of their muscle mass. 40%. Can you imagine losing almost half of something so crucial to your independence and just not noticing? I want you to think about this morning. When you got out of bed, did you hesitate for even a split second? When you walked to the bathroom, did you feel completely steady? When you went downstairs, did you automatically reach for the handrail? If any of these sound familiar, your body is already trying to tell you something crucial. Now, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable, but I need you to be honest. When was the last time you felt truly confident about your leg strength? When did you last walk somewhere without a single thought about whether you might stumble? If you can't remember, that's your first clue that we need to have this conversation. Here's what most people don't understand. Your legs don't just wake up one morning and decide to be weak. Leg weakness is a gradual process that gives you warning signs months or even years before it becomes a serious problem. The tragedy is that most people dismiss these warnings as just getting older or normal wear and tear. But here's the thing that should give you hope. If you can catch these warning signs early, you can actually reverse the process. Yes, you heard that right. Even if you're 70, 80, or 90 years old, you can rebuild leg strength. But only if you recognize the warnings and take action before it's too late. So let me ask you this. What would losing your leg strength mean to you personally? Would it mean you can't go to the grocery store by yourself? Would it mean you can't play with your grandchildren? Would it mean moving to assisted living? Take a moment and really think about that, because understanding what's at stake makes everything I'm about to tell you so much more important. The first warning sign that your legs are weakening is something so subtle that 95% of people completely miss it. It's called transition hesitation, and it happens when you pause, even for just a fraction of a second, before changing positions. This could be hesitating before standing up from a chair, pausing at the top of stairs, or taking that extra moment before stepping off a curb. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's just being careful. But here's the difference. Being careful is a conscious decision to move slowly for safety. Transition hesitation is your body's unconscious recognition that it's not as strong or stable as it used to be. Your nervous system is buying time to prepare for a movement that used to be automatic. Have you noticed this happening to you? Maybe when you're getting out of your car, you find yourself holding onto the doorframe a little longer than you used to. Or maybe when you're getting up from your favorite chair, you rock forward once or twice before actually standing. These aren't conscious decisions. They're your body's way of compensating for declining strength. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you noticed any of these tiny hesitations in your daily movements? Even if it seems insignificant, I want to hear about it because recognizing this pattern is the first step in addressing it. The second warning sign is what I call furniture walking. This is when you unconsciously use furniture, walls, or other surfaces for support as you move through your home, even when you don't think you need to. You might lightly touch the back of the couch as you walk by, run your hand along the wall in a hallway, or always seem to have one hand near a surface when you're standing. Now, here's what's insidious about furniture walking. It often starts so gradually that you don't even realize you're doing it. Your brain is incredibly smart, and it begins creating these safety networks before you consciously recognize that you need them. By the time you notice that you're always reaching for support, your balance and leg strength have already declined significantly. Think about how you move through your house right now. Do you find yourself naturally gravitating toward walls or furniture? When you're talking to someone while standing, do you unconsciously lean against a counter or rest your hand on a table? These might seem like casual behaviors, but they could be early warning signs that your legs are working harder than they should to keep you stable. Here's a simple test you can do right now. If you're somewhere safe, stand up and take 5 steps away from any furniture or walls. Just stand there for 30 seconds without touching anything. How does that feel? Do you feel completely steady and confident, or do you find yourself wanting to step back towards something you can hold on to? Your answer to this question is incredibly revealing. The third warning sign is something that catches people completely off guard because it doesn't seem related to leg strength at all. It's called cognitive load increase, and it happens when simple physical tasks start requiring more mental effort than they used to. You might find yourself thinking more about walking, being more aware of stairs, or feeling like you need to concentrate on movements that used to be completely automatic. Here's why this happens. When your legs start to weaken, your brain has to work harder to coordinate movement and maintain balance. Tasks that used to be handled by your unconscious motor system now require conscious attention. This is actually your brain trying to compensate for physical changes, but it's also a clear warning that those changes are happening. Have you noticed that you're more tired after activities that didn't used to be tiring? Maybe a trip to the grocery store leaves you more exhausted than it should. Or perhaps you find yourself thinking about each step when you're going downstairs, whereas before you could practically do it with your eyes closed. This increased mental effort is a sign that your leg strength and balance system are having to work harder to keep you safe. Let me ask you something. When you're walking on uneven surfaces like grass or gravel, do you find yourself staring at the ground more than you used to? This is your brain trying to gather more visual information to compensate for decreased confidence in your leg's ability to handle unexpected terrain. It's a smart adaptation, but it's also a warning sign. Comment below and tell me about a time recently when you found yourself concentrating harder on a physical task that used to be easy. Maybe it was stepping over something, or navigating a crowded space, or even just walking on a surface you weren't familiar with. These experiences are more important than you might think. The fourth warning sign is perhaps the most telling of all, and it's called recovery time increase. This is when it takes you longer to feel steady after any kind of movement or position change. You might notice it most when you first stand up. Instead of feeling immediately stable, you need a moment or two to feel completely balanced and ready to walk. This happens because your vestibular system, that's your inner ear balance system, and your proprioceptive system, that's your body sense of where it is in space, are having to work harder to coordinate with weakening leg muscles. When your legs were stronger, they could quickly stabilize you after any movement. Now, your entire balance system has to recalibrate more slowly. Here's a specific example. When you get up from bed in the morning, do you immediately start walking, or do you sit on the edge of the bed for a moment? When you stand up from a low chair, do you feel ready to walk right away, or do you pause and make sure you're steady first? When you turn around quickly, do you feel instantly oriented, or does it take a second for everything to feel normal? These recovery delays might only last a few seconds, but they're significant. They indicate that your balance system is working at the edge of its capacity rather than with the comfortable margin of safety it used to have. And here's the concerning part. As your leg strength continues to decline, these recovery times will get longer and longer. But here's something that might surprise you. You can actually improve these recovery times dramatically with the right approach. I've seen people cut their recovery time in half in just a few weeks by addressing the underlying leg weakness and balance issues. Have you noticed these kinds of delays in feeling steady after movement? Share your experience in the comments because understanding how common this is can help others recognize it in themselves. Now, before I tell you about the fifth and most critical warning sign, I need you to understand something important. Everything I've described so far, the transition hesitation, furniture walking, increased cognitive load, and longer recovery times, these are all your body's attempt to keep you safe while your legs are weakening. Your body is incredibly smart and adaptive, and it's trying to prevent you from falling or getting hurt. But here's the problem. While these adaptations keep you safer in the short term, they also accelerate the decline in leg strength. When you move less, use more support, and avoid challenging your balance, your muscles get weaker faster. It's a downward spiral that starts slowly but accelerates over time. The fifth warning sign is the one that scares me the most because by the time people notice it, they're often already at significant risk. It's called environmental restriction, and it's when you unconsciously start avoiding certain places, activities, or situations because they feel too challenging for your legs. This might start small. Maybe you stop going to places with lots of stairs, or you avoid walking on grass or uneven surfaces. You might start choosing restaurants based on their seating rather than their food, or avoiding social events that require a lot of standing or walking. You might stop doing household tasks that require reaching, bending, or climbing. The insidious thing about environmental restriction is that it feels like sensible caution. You tell yourself you're just being smart and avoiding unnecessary risks. But what's really happening is that your world is shrinking because your legs can't support the activities you used to enjoy. And as your world shrinks, your legs get even weaker from lack of use. Here's a question that might be hard to answer honestly. What activities have you stopped doing in the last year or two? Not because you don't enjoy them anymore, but because they feel too physically challenging or risky. Maybe you've stopped gardening because getting up and down is hard. Maybe you've stopped going to certain stores because they require too much walking. Maybe you've stopped visiting friends who live in homes with lots of stairs. Each of these restrictions might seem minor by itself, but together they represent a significant loss of independence and quality of life. More importantly, they represent a level of leg weakness that puts you at serious risk for falls, injuries, and further decline. I want you to drop a comment and tell me about one activity you've stopped doing recently. Don't be embarrassed. You're not alone in this. In fact, sharing your experience might help someone else realize that they're experiencing the same thing. And recognizing these patterns is the first step toward reversing them. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Recognizing these 5 warning signs isn't about scaring you or making you feel hopeless. It's about empowering you with information that can change the trajectory of your health and independence. Because here's the amazing thing about leg weakness in older adults. Unlike many age-related changes, this is one that can be significantly improved at any age. But you have to act on the warning signs while they're still warnings, not after they've become major problems. The time to address leg weakness isn't after you've fallen. It's not after you've lost your independence. It's right now, when you're recognizing these subtle changes and have the opportunity to do something about them. So let me ask you this. How many of these 5 warning signs are you experiencing right now? Be honest with yourself. Are you hesitating before position changes? Are you unconsciously using furniture for support? Are simple movements requiring more concentration? Are you taking longer to feel steady after moving? Are you avoiding certain activities or environments? If you're experiencing even one of these signs, your body is sending you a message. If you're experiencing multiple signs, that message is getting more urgent. But here's what gives me hope, and what should give you hope too. Every single one of these warning signs can be addressed and improved. The key is understanding that leg weakness in older adults isn't just about the muscles in your legs. It's about your entire movement system, your balance, your coordination, your confidence, your cardiovascular fitness, your flexibility, and yes, your strength. Addressing leg weakness effectively means taking a comprehensive approach that targets all of these areas. And this is where a lot of people make a crucial mistake. They think that leg weakness is just about doing leg exercises. But if you only focus on strength training without addressing balance, coordination, and movement patterns, you're missing huge pieces of the puzzle. It's like trying to fix a car by only changing the oil. You might help one component, but you're not addressing the whole system. Here's something that might surprise you. Some of the most effective interventions for leg weakness don't look like traditional exercise at all. Activities like Tai Chi, dancing, yoga, and even certain types of video games can be incredibly effective because they challenge multiple systems at once. They improve strength, balance, coordination, and confidence all at the same time. But before you start any kind of intervention program, you need to get a proper assessment of where you stand right now. This isn't something you should guess about or try to figure out on your own. A qualified physical therapist who specializes in older adults can assess your strength, balance, gait, and movement patterns and identify exactly where your vulnerabilities lie. Have you ever had a comprehensive balance and mobility assessment? If not, this might be one of the most important appointments you could make for your future independence and quality of life. And if you have had one, when was it? Because your abilities can change over time, regular assessments become more important as we age. Now, I want to address something that I know might be going through your mind right now. You might be thinking, this all sounds expensive and complicated. I don't have the time, money, or energy to deal with all of this. And I understand those concerns completely. But let me put this in perspective for you. The cost of addressing leg weakness proactively is a tiny fraction of the cost of dealing with the consequences of ignoring it. A fall that results in a hip fracture can cost tens of thousands of dollars in medical bills, not to mention the potential loss of independence, the need for assistance with daily activities, and the impact on your quality of life. More importantly, the time investment required to maintain and improve leg strength is much less than the time you'll lose if you become mobility impaired. We're talking about maybe 30 minutes a few times a week versus potentially losing the ability to do the activities you love for months or even permanently. And as for energy, here's the paradox of exercise and activity. The more you do, the more energy you have. People who maintain their leg strength and mobility actually feel more energetic and capable than those who let these abilities decline. So the energy you invest in your leg health pays dividends in every other area of your life. Let me share something with you that I find incredibly inspiring. I've seen 90-year-olds who are stronger and more mobile than some 70-year-olds. The difference isn't genetics, luck, or having an easy life. The difference is that the stronger, more mobile older adults recognized the warning signs early and took consistent action to address them. Your chronological age, the number on your birthday cake, is much less important than your functional age, how well your body works. And when it comes to leg strength and mobility, your functional age is largely under your control, regardless of how many birthdays you've had. So here's my challenge for you. Don't let another day go by ignoring the warning signs your body is sending you. Don't wait until the warnings become emergencies. Don't assume that decline is inevitable or that it's too late to make improvements. Start by being honest about which of these 5 warning signs you're experiencing. Write them down if you need to. Then, make a plan to address them. That might mean scheduling an appointment with a physical therapist. It might mean joining a balance class or starting a walking program. It might mean making some safety modifications to your home environment. But here's the most important thing. It means taking action. Knowledge without action won't save your independence. Recognizing the warning signs won't help if you don't do anything about them. The time to act is now, while you still have the opportunity to make meaningful improvements. I want you to comment below and tell me 2 things. First, which of the 5 warning signs resonated most with you? And second, what's one action you're committed to taking this week to address leg weakness? It doesn't have to be big or dramatic. Maybe you'll schedule that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Maybe you'll start doing some simple exercises at home. Maybe you'll have an honest conversation with a family member about your concerns. Whatever it is, make that commitment public by sharing it in the comments. There's power in accountability, and there's also power in knowing that others are on this journey with you. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your legs have carried you through decades of life. They've taken you to important places, helped you accomplish meaningful things, and supported you through countless experiences. They deserve your attention, care, and investment now. You wouldn't ignore warning lights on your car's dashboard because you know that small problems become big problems if left unaddressed. Your body's warning signs deserve the same respect and attention. The 5 signs we've discussed today are your body's dashboard lights, telling you that maintenance is needed. The good news is that unlike your car, your body has an amazing capacity to repair, strengthen, and improve itself when given the right support. The warning sign we've talked about aren't a sentence of inevitable decline. They're an opportunity for proactive improvement. So take that opportunity. Your future self, the one who wants to keep living independently, enjoying activities, and maintaining quality of life, is counting on the decisions you make today. Don't let that future self down. Remember, this isn't medical advice, and you should always consult with your healthcare provider for personalized guidance. But the information in this video can help you have more informed conversations with your healthcare team and make better decisions about your mobility and independence. Thank you for taking the time to learn about these crucial warning signs. Your commitment to understanding and addressing leg weakness isn't just about you. It's about staying connected to the people and activities you love for as long as possible. If this video has been helpful, make sure to like it and share it with others who might benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe for more content about maintaining independence, mobility, and quality of life as we age. Most importantly, don't forget to take action. Your legs are sending you messages right now. The question is, are you ready to listen and respond? I hope the answer is yes, and I hope you'll share your journey with us in the comments below. Stay strong, stay mobile, and remember, it's never too late to start taking better care of the legs that have taken such good care of you.